I'm making every Bundesliga transfer rumor go through. Start with Augsburg as our first team. What are they rumored with? And apparently, they're first of all rumored to sign Hoffmann, so they will be getting him, taking a player from their rival. That's interesting. But this is only the start. We will be making 3 rumors go through for every single Bundesliga team, no matter how crazy, little, or unrealistic the rumor is. We might see Mbappé on Leverkusen, or Haaland play for Freiburg in the end. If it's a rumor, I'm making it happen. And in the end, we'll see what it does to the Bundesliga. Maybe Bayern won't actually win the Bundesliga for once. Maybe we'll see Mainz win it, or Hoffenheim. Who knows? But we've so far only made 1 signing to Augsburg. They still need 2 more. So, let's see what they want. And okay, this is a little older rumor, but they've been interested in Thomas Müller, so he's already making a return from America. But instead of playing for Bayern, he's actually playing for Augsburg. That'll be interesting to see if he'll still perform good, maybe potentially carry. But the final player Augsburg is interested in is actually Neuhaus, yet another midfielder. How many midfielders do they want? Anyways, they've improved their team, or their midfield, I should say. But it's still an improvement. We're off to a good start. But let's spin for the next team. What are we landing on? And we get Frankfurt. Okay, this will be interesting. And first player they want instantly is Rasmus Højlund. Why does so many clubs want this guy? He'll get you maybe 4 goals in a season, and that's if you're lucky. But he is young, so could still grow. Next player Frankfurt wants is Tolisso, the French midfielder. A decent signing, but he's more average nowadays. Nothing crazy special. But last player rumored to Frankfurt is actually Arda Güler. This is a big player. Now we'll suddenly see a lot of Turkish supporters for Frankfurt, but Arda Güler is an amazing talent. And that's actually 3 solid signings for Frankfurt. Expect Højlund, he's more of a punishment for them. But what will our next team be? And we get Hamburger. They've finally gotten promoted again. And first player they want is Peretz, the bench keeper for Bayern Munich. Not the best of signings. They do also want Ugachukwu from Chelsea. So a midfielder, also decent signing for them, but not that great. And final player is actually Posch. He looks like a pretty decent defender. So for their level, I think they've done all right. They definitely could have done better, but this is still decent. But let's keep the wheel spinning. And we now land on FC Köln. Alright, first signing they're interested in is Yari Verscharen, a small but technical attacking midfielder. That's not bad for them. Then we've got Rav Vandenberg, a Dutch defender. I thought it was the other Vandenberg, but it's apparently this version. Not that great. And final player for Köln is Lotka, a goalkeeper. A very shit goalkeeper. Yeah, Köln did not cook. If anything, they ordered food and it never arrived. Let's spin again and see if the next club has some better luck. And we've landed on St. Pauli. Okay, they're newly promoted, so let's see what kind of signings they're going to get. First is Ashemeru from Anderlecht, decent midfielder. Then they've also got Antista, a striker who's been rumored with like 46 different clubs, but now he's at St. Pauli. And finally, Yokota. I've never heard of him, but apparently he exists, and now he's playing for St. Pauli. Not the craziest set of signings, but at least they got 3 living footballers, and none of them are Højlund, so that's a win. Let's keep the wheel spinning. What are we getting now? And we land on Heidenheim. Okay, their first rumor is Zlatan Ibrahimovic? Wait, hold up. That's not Zlatan, a fake Ibrahimovic. But will he be like Ibrahimovic? Anyways, next up, they've also got Machida, a Japanese defender. Pretty solid. And the final signing is Kratzig, a Bayern Munich youngster. That's actually 3 decent upgrades for a club like Heidenheim. Very young-minded. Just like Benzema. And just like how you should subscribe, because I'm giving away 2 copies of FC26 to 2 random subscribers. So subscribe, or else you'll get a visit from Benzema. But let's spin the wheel again, and we now land on Union Berlin. Alright, what do they want? First is Jeremiah Street Justa, decent pace merchant for their defense. They also want Sinali Diamande. That's yet another defender. And final one is Nsoki. Okay, so Union just bought 3 defenders. Jose Mourinho would be proud. I guess their goal is to just not lose. Let's see if that'll work out for them. But let's keep the wheel spinning, and the next club is Leipzig. And oh my god, straight away, this is insane. First rumor is Nkunku back to Leipzig. Chelsea literally ruined him for a season, and now Leipzig are taking him back. So Nkunku returns back to the Bundesliga. But it doesn't stop there. They also want Trevoh Chalobah. Okay, not as crazy, but still a solid defender. But that's another player they're taking from Chelsea. And final signing is Endrick. Or should I say Bobby Charlton. They've decided to go with experience in this signing. But I think Leipzig has cooked a little here. One of the best teams so far. And maybe a favorite to win the Bundesliga. But we'll have to wait till the end and see. For now, let's see what we land on next. And we get Mönchengladbach. And the first signing is Gio Reyna. Decent attacking midfielder. That's pretty solid for a side like them. They also want Mathys Tel. He's pretty decent. Or at least he used to be before he went to Tottenham. And their final rumor is Rashica. He's just alright. Not terrible, but not great. A decent addition. But overall, Reyna and Tel is actually a good help for Gladbach. They've improved, and that's all that matters winners for them. But what team will the wheel land on next? And it lands on Wolfsburg. First player rumored to them is Kumbedi, a young right back, decent little signing. They also want Fabio Silva. Okay, not bad. He's been everywhere, but maybe Wolfsburg can make him consistent. And last signing is Salih Özcan, also decent, and that's a Dortmund player they're taking. Wolfsburg have done okay, but not amazing. And next team on the wheel will be Leverkusen. Okay, that's huge. They'll need some big signings to beat Bayern. First player is İlkay Gündoğan. That's huge experience for them and a good help for their midfield. That's a very good start. Then they also want Manuel Akanji, another top defender, but also yet another player from Manchester City. And final one is Christensen. That'll help their defense quite a bit, especially since they've lost Jonathan Tah to Bayern Munich recently. I think Leverkusen could have done better, but they've still done pretty good. They might win the league with these signings, but that depends on what Dortmund and Bayern gets, or maybe even another unexpected team. But now let's go on to the next team on the wheel, which is going to be Mainz. Let's see what they've got. First is Luvumbo. Okay, decent winger, but not that great. Then John Joe Kenny. What is up with these shit rumors to these Bundesliga clubs? And finally, Abdulli Mana. Who? Yeah, Mainz has been scammed. This is not great. Mainz is cooked. Might as well prepare for the second division. Now for the next team on the wheel, and that'll be Hoffenheim this time. Their first player is Wilfried Ndidi. Solid midfielder, decent upgrade for them. They also want Sebastian Bornau. Good Bundesliga experience already, and they're weakening their rival. And final signing is Gilbert. He's alright, but not that great at all. Hoffenheim has actually done pretty shitty, I have to be honest. A lot of these Bundesliga clubs have shit transfers. We need something big. But, okay, there we go. We've now landed on Dortmund as our next team. Big expectations here. And their first signing is Jadon Sancho back to Dortmund. That's if he even wants to leave United. He looks pretty comfortable playing pro clubs every week there. Then they're also getting Garnacho from Manchester United. Another player from Manchester United. He's not the highest rated, but has pretty decent potential. So that's another okay-ish signing. And final player is Trossard from Arsenal. Yet another winger. But Trossard is an insane clutch player. Maybe he's what they need to finally win the Bundesliga. But yeah, Dortmund could definitely challenge Bayern with this. But that still depends on what Bayern gets later on. Let's keep going. And next up is Werder Bremen. First rumor for them is Andre Silva. Decent striker, and a lot of you guys confused him for the other Andre Silva. This is not the brother of Diogo Jota. Anyways, also want Timo Werner. Man, I do miss Timo Werner. Such a legend. I really wanted him to succeed, but he became a professional Fortnite player instead. And final player is Wind. They signed the Weather, but now Werder Bremen has like 46 strikers. They really only decided to sign strikers, but pretty decent strikers at least. Only 3 teams left, and among those is still Bayern Munich. But our next team will be Freiburg, and first player rumored to them is Sau. That's actually a decent midfielder. But then it gets crazy because they're also getting Milan Skriniar. That's a huge defender for Freiburg. He's not world class, but he will be really good for a team at their level. And their last signing is Quam. Pretty average. But Skriniar alone makes this a very solid for Freiburg compared to a lot of these other Bundesliga teams. But 2 final clubs left, Stuttgart and Bayern Munich. And we land on Stuttgart first. And the first rumor for them is Fabio Vieira from Arsenal. Not a bad midfielder. Then they want Brobby from Ajax. Decent striker, but again, it's just not that great. But the big one is Enzo Fernandez. That's actually unexpected. Enzo Fernandez is a huge signing for them. Enzo Fernandez really saves their signings and has made their team a lot better. But now for the final club on the wheel, the big one, Bayern Munich. Let's see what they're cooking. First player is Frankie de Jong. That's already amazing. A world-class midfielder. Then they've also got Donnarumma. Neuer is getting old, so this is a perfect replacement for him. This will make Bayern amazing. And final player is Rodrigo from Real Madrid. That's insane. They already have many amazing wingers, but they've now also gotten the best Indian winger in the world. But De Jong, Donnarumma, and Rodrigo, I don't even know how the Bundesliga survives this. I feel like all the smaller clubs got shit signings, and then it's just Bayern who just got stronger. But will that mean they'll win the Bundesliga? Well, now simulate a season and see if that's actually the case, or will another team win it? So I've now simulated. Let's just take a look at the table. St. Pauli and FC Cologne got relegated. Wolfsburg finished in 11th and Mainz at 10th. We have Frankfurt at 9th and then Augsburg at 8th. Hamburger, surprisingly, got all the way to 7th. And in 6th, we have Hoffenheim. Leverkusen could only get 5th, and Stuttgart is the first in the top 4. Of course, Dortmund still can't win the Bundesliga. And in 2nd, we have Leipzig, which means the winner is obviously Bayern Munich. No big surprises there.